Hello everybody, I hope you guys have been enjoying the tarantula spotlight videos. They're not a ton of work, but I did put a little bit of work into them. Probably could have done them a little bit better than what I did, and hopefully as I do them, things will get better. But I wanted to show you, I finally finished this nice, beautiful, lovely arboreal enclosure. This is the 15.5 by, I think 6 or 7 wide by 7 deep. And one of these two lucky ladies is going to go in it. I'm not going to tell you which one. You'll have to tune in at the end of the video to find out which one it is. This one here is, you can see her down there. That's Salem. This is the female Salmopaeus pulcher. Now, one of my favorite, top 5 spiders in my collection, not just the genus and species, but spiders in my collection. And that one, hold on, let me get you a different. That little gem there is my Poecilotheria subfusca samira. Also one of my top 5 favorite spiders in my collection. I like the way that this enclosure came out. You could see we're not great with the lighting because my other light didn't charge yet. So you could see the cork bark in the side, and then I just put some fake plants here. They're kind of just wedged back in there. Hopefully they'll stay okay. I'm not too optimistic of that, but I'm going to make sure that happens. I didn't want to hot glue anything because I didn't want those little glue spots all over the place. And then I used another type of rope vine plant down here and just buried it in to give the appearance of structure stuff on the pot. Now I'm going to try and put some different things on the ground here just for some aesthetics, maybe some leaf litter or something like that. But let's see how many of you guess which spider is the one that actually is going to make it into this new home. And whichever one doesn't, I'm making another one of these. So she will end up, both of these will end up in one of these tall enclosures. I have 3 of these total. That was my plan, is to make all 3 of these arboreal. One for Samira, one for Salem, and one for Tannen, the Poecilotheria Miranda. Those would be the first 3 that I put in these. I'd like to put all of my arboreals into these. I don't have any arboreals that get huge. Well, I do. I have the Rufolotic that can get really, really big, and probably would be okay in this, but would probably be better off with something a tad bit bigger. And then the Salmopaeus cambridgei, a female, can get rather large too. So, okay, well, I'm going to do some other updates in the middle here, and then I'm going to figure out which one I'm going to put in there, get her in there, and then I'll bring you guys back so you can see which one made it. Okay, here is the first update. This is Milagro. This is the Brachypelma hamori, molted a few days ago. Came out perfectly fine, looking sharp. Got the nice, lovely adult coloration going in. Let's see if we focus. There we go. You can see the darkening on top of the carapace. That will darken more as Milagro gets a little bit bigger. I knew it was going to be soon. We didn't have this little one didn't have the black shiny thick butt, but it had stopped eating for, I don't know, a couple months, and it was real lethargic over the last course of, I don't know, last handful of days, probably last 6 or 7 days. It was real. I mean, even if I bumped the enclosure, it didn't move, which generally it does. And the next one, I think, the Brachypelma classy is getting close, as well as one of my Acanthoscurria geniculata. Matter of fact, both of them, both Acanthoscurria geniculatas. Those two have kind of mirrored each other molting wise. They've been pretty close to each other in when one molts versus the other one. So that we'll look forward to those coming up. And also both of the Brachypelma Baumgartenis look like they're getting close, as well as possibly the Afaunapelma moderatum. There's a handful of them, really, that are getting to that point where they're getting close to looking like they're going to molt. Again, of course, both Davus penniloruses have been taking their sweet, good old time. But that was that's update number 1. let me get update number 2 if he's willing. Hold on 1 second and we'll grab him. I'll hold this other light because it needs to get plugged back in again, but at least you could see this is Norman. Norman has been moved. Norman came out of the Stairlight shoebox container and put into one of the 13.5-inch long display cases from Hobby Lobby. So not as wide. It's about 1 inch difference in width. The length is pretty much the same. I think it's about 1/4 of an inch difference, and the height is about 1/2 inch shorter. So he is in this for display. Again, I want to move all my guys to acrylic. There he is right there. Don't. He's already tried to climb out a handful. Oh, down. Stay down. He's already tried to climb out a handful of times. You should be able to see him with that light now. Let me turn this one off. He's not real thrilled right now as far as being in this enclosure. He'll come back down over here. Okay. So what we did was I took his old home, his cork bark tube that I actually made myself, and let me get the light back over here again so you can see. Okay, and I made it wider by taking this part here, and it was closer in, and it was kind of like at an angle. So I did is just put it over here, braced it, and then put the other piece, which is like a half circle, over top of it to give him a nice den to go in. Hasn't gone in there yet, but he was drinking water and he has been very active. He's tried to climb out about 3 or 4 times. I kind of just put my hand in front of him and he crawls back in again. So hopefully he'll settle down a little bit and get used to being in here. I'm sure he'll be fine. And this, he's 4 inches. I measured him earlier. He's actually a 4-inch long spider already. He's very long. Of course, I'm not saying that because you can't tell the difference between male and female until they get older, but he is rather long as far as his leg length from tip to end. Now, I'm sure a female's probably the same exact thing when you're talking, you know, overall diagonal leg span at this size, 4-inch. But it's hard to believe that at 4 inches I could put a lot of spiders in these things that I didn't realize that I could, like the, you know, the Papillopa species Columbia large, a mature female would be 4 inches, which is that big. A Davis penniloris is 4 inch. Dolichothelli diamentinensis is 4 inches. So there's a lot of upswing or up, I don't know what I'm trying to say, the upsell. I'm gonna upsell this enclosure. It's a perfect enclosure for these. You know, when you even probably at 5 inches would be pushing it just a little bit, but I have 5-inch spiders in those Stairlight containers, and like I said, they're not much different, just a little bit wider. Not much wider, but a little bit wider. So I thought I'd give you guys a look at Norman. It's not the greatest look because I'm still working. I got a lot of stuff I want to do. This light that I just bought, right there, new light, 700 watt or 700 lumen. So the amount of light that it gives off is much better, but it's not completely over top of the enclosure. So if I took this light off and did this, let's see if this will work. I just want to show you guys how much brighter this is. So and it's even better when it's behind. And I'm also making a ring light out of 4 or 3. They're 3 disc low voltage LED lights. They're 200 lumens a piece. So I'm going to make a ring light out of those and see if I can figure out how to get that to support onto a tripod. This light also needs to be, if you could see, there are the mounting or the bracket. So those needs to be drilled so that I can put the tripod up through it, and then I'll put a wing nut or something to hold that on there. This one is a plug-in, so it'll never go dead on me like the other light does, on and off. So I thought you guys would like to see that. The other guys that have all been moved into these are all doing fantastic. You could see he's trying to hide underneath his little leaf there. I didn't really give him a ton of stuff in here, just the stuff that was in his enclosure already. And he's, oh, you guys can't see. What am I doing here? I'm watching him, but you guys aren't. So he's kind of hunkering down underneath that leaf. But he'll start webbing the ground up so he knows where he's at. And yeah, So I am going to transfer one of those two females now into this stand-up enclosure, this new arboreal enclosure. Figure out exactly where I'm going to put that enclosure. It's going to go up on the top shelf up there, so I need to move some stuff from the top shelf down, which I will be doing. There's Norman's trying to... No, you stay down. I really think that he's handleable. I think I could hold this guy without too much problem. I would imagine he ate the other day, so I don't know that he's really closing in on a molt. I would think sometime in the next, by spring, he'll have molted again. That would be my guess. So, okay, well, I have some, it's not going to be a very easy transfer for one of these two spiders. I can guarantee you that. Whichever one I decide to put in here is probably going to give me a few fits anyway. So, I'll be back with the new one inside of this enclosure and see how many of you guys guessed right. Poecilotheria subfusca or Psalmopoeus pulcher. Okay, everybody, so we got the spider in there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but if you guessed the Poecilotheria subfusca, then you would be the correct guesser. She didn't really want to go in here. Generally, she's pretty placid as far as moving. I've rehoused her 3 times from a little sling. I got her at about 1.5 inches long. Thought for sure it was a male till the last, well, not the past molt, but the molt before showed the spermathecae. Let me see, maybe we open this. I was thinking about putting a background on this, and I didn't do it. I have some cork flats, not the actual cork bark, but actual cork board flats, squares, that I was going to cut and glue on there and then make some kind of a backdrop. But I wanted to be able to see inside the backside of this cork bark here, so that I'd be able to take a look at her back there if I wanted to. Now she can get back behind the cork bark where she's at. She has an entrance. She was not real thrilled. She has an entrance down the bottom there, and then of course up on top. So she's got plenty of height. They look gorgeous up against the cork bark. If you can actually get them to be on the cork bark. It's not the easiest thing in the world to get this type of Poecilotheria out and about. She is very reclusive. She was very, very slow and methodical with her movements, but she did probably bite the wooden skewer probably about 10 times or so. I was giving up. I was like, okay, I'm not going to push her anymore. I slid her cork bark out. I was like, I'm just going to let her relax. And then she started crawling around again. So from there, it was just pushing her little by little up to the front. And if you just take your time with them and let them go at their pace, and you don't rush it, and you have to be patient when you rehouse, especially a spider like this one. You have to have some patience. If you don't have patience, you're going to push them to the point where they're going to be, okay, I'm done, and they're just going to bolt because they finally gave up. She was almost like playing stiff as a board. She put her legs out. She was just like sitting there, and she wasn't moving much. So once I got her cork bark out, it was much easier to get her out of her home. Now it's going to take her some while to settle in here. She is a very, she probably won't be fed for a little while in here because she does take a considerable amount of time to get accustomed to her new surroundings. I made the mistake before of trying to feed her right away when I moved her, and it didn't work out so well. So what I'm trying to figure out is I have one, I think I'm going to take the assassin bugs and take them out of that stairlight container and then move the last of these stairlight containers up top. So this whole entire nightstand over here will then be acrylic stuff. So I can move these guys into that area there and then stack them back there and then put her right here next to me. So that if she is out and about, I can get some nice, beautiful, solid pictures of her. So that's my plan. look forward to a video coming up soon. Any of you that are going to Tinley in March, if you are going to Tinley in March and you're a subscriber of my channel, post or send me a message on my Eerie Arachnid site, or send me a private message on my Facebook site, because there is going to be a giveaway at that expo. It's a Lasiodora Parahyabana sling. It'll be at Fear Not Tarantula's display. It was something that I accrued points and when I got the Pamphibedius pedersei and a few other things, I accrued some points from her. And instead of just getting another spider here, I decided that I wanted to use it as some type of giveaway. I don't want to mail it, so it's going to have, because I don't want to pay for the shipping, and I didn't expect Tanya to do that either. So she's going to have that there at the Fear Not Tarantula's table. So I'm going to keep this open, and I'm going to do a strict video for that also, so that you can comment on that video. But I'll give you some more details. What I'd like for you to do is to be a subscriber of my channel. When I do the giveaway video, it'll be like the video, subscribe to my channel, and like my Eerie Arachnids Facebook page. If you are on all those three things and you are going to Tinley, you have to be going to the Tinley show, then I will randomly draw a name and I will send that name to Tanya, and all you need to do is show up with your ID and you'll be able to pick up your free Lasiodora Parahyabana sling. So look forward to that real soon. I'm going to talk to Tanya here in the next few days and get that all hashed out with her, so she knows what to be expecting. And thanks for watching. I hope that we'll get some good footage of Samira here in this beautiful new arboreal enclosure. I do have to make one small adjustment to it, and I'll show you what that is. Any of you guys that have built these know that when you drill the holes, I put 3 holes up in here just in case. Not that I need all 3, I just need actually 1. But you have to find something that will fit inside those little tiny holes to go down through to keep this lid from opening. So what I figured out is I'm just going to put a small piece of plastic here that I'll hot glue on, or I'll super glue it, and then these wooden skewers right here are the perfect size. Yeah, maybe they go down through perfectly. So what I'll do is I'll put something as a stop there, and then cut this off at the top, and I'll just be able to pull that out anytime that I want to open the enclosure. And the stop will be something that I'll be able to actually most likely pull the enclosure lid open with. So yep, that's that. And gonna make up a new label for her, and then I'm going to clean out her enclosure completely, and then we're going to transfer the Psalmopoeus cambridgei into that, which will get rid of that cereal box container, and get these assassin bugs moved. And that's going to probably complete my day. So once all that stuff is all done, I'll add that into a separate video of what the Psalmopoeus cambridgei new enclosure looks like, the assassin bugs. And I think that's it. And then I'll start working on the new enclosure like this for Salem, my Psalmopoeus pulcher. I want to reuse her plants and the structure of her enclosure in the new one so that it's pretty much similar. That's why I decided not to put her in this one, because originally she was the one slated to go in here first. Samira here is about 4.5 inches, maybe 5 at best. Another molt she'll be able to be bred, and this is the only Poecilotheria species that I probably would do that, possibly the Miranda. So I want to get down to only having the 3, the Tigrin and Wasseli, the Miranda, and the Sapusca. So the Rufilata is up there in the air on if I want to sell that one or not. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Thanks for sharing the collection with me. And we'll see you guys all soon.